Root cause analysis is the most important technique, one of the most important techniques that we can apply in our installation to improve the maintenance of our installation. Remember this rule. If you do the same exactly in this way, you obtain the same result. Then if you want to avoid that the failure happen once and once and once, and one problem become in a repetitive problem, you need to investigate the cause and solve the cause that provoke the different events that we have in our installation. Only in this way you improve the result in terms of availability and in terms of cost. What is root cause analysis? Root cause analysis tries to identify the main cause of one event, one not decided event that we have. One not decided event could be an accident, could be a failure, or could be an abnormal functioning. And the first thing that we see when we investigate problems is that the root cause does not exist. When we investigate failure, we see that the cause that provoke one failure, understanding that the failure is the consequence, is not only one cause. Are different causes that are working together and provoke different consequences. Not only one consequence, different consequences. No only one cause, different cause. Then what we try in the investigation process is to understand the mechanism, how the different causes works together to provoke the different consequences, the different effects. Root cause analysis then is a name, but does not mean nothing. Root cause analysis is the concept, but really we don't identify one cause. We identify different causes that work together. And more or less, how is the process? The process is based in the scientific method. The scientific method is this methodology responsible for the development of the humanity. Other methodology, like the deductive methodology, is not enough to understand very well the behavior of the different components of our installation. Then the scientific method is the only one that can offer to us reliable results. The scientific method is based in 6 steps. The first step is the approach of the problem. We need to know which is the problem that we need to answer, which is the question, why, which is the different cause that provoke the failure. Second step is we need to obtain information. The information, we obtain the information from 4 different ways. The first one is the documents. Second one is the interview. Third one is the on-site analysis. And the fourth one is the electronic register. Third step, we need to process all this information. And processing this information, we need to obtain 2 results, two things. The first one is a list of the damage. The second one is the list of significant events around the problem that we are investigating. Fourth step is the hypothesis. We need to elaborate different hypotheses for our problem. Sometimes there is only one hypothesis. Sometimes there is different hypotheses or investigation line that we can follow. One hypothesis must fulfill this rule. The hypothesis must give us an explanation of every damage. The list of damage then is very important because all the damage that are in this list must be represented in the hypothesis. Once we have established the different hypotheses, the different investigation line, arrive the fifth step. Fifth step is the experimental phase. It's the most important in the scientific method. The other one are important, but this try to demonstrate or refute the hypothesis. Then we need to identify different points to demonstrate or refute the hypothesis. Remember that the hypothesis normally is made in a failure tree. In this failure tree has all the cause and all the consequence and the relation between them. Then we need to demonstrate some point. For example, if this together with this provoke this, we must observe this point. Then we need to go again on site and obtain one sample or do an observation or substitute that demonstrate or refute this part of the hypothesis. Then in our failure tree, we need to identify different points to demonstrate or refute the hypothesis. The last step is the analysis and conclusion of the experimental phase. According with the result of our experiments, we can conclude if the hypothesis, the sum of the hypotheses that we have prepared are compatible with the thing that we observe or are not compatible. If are compatible and there are only one explanation for this, you can understand only one line, then you can conclude that this hypothesis, this investigation line, is the cause of the problem. After the conclusion, of course, the seventh step is not contained in the scientific methodology, but is the most important phase in case of maintenance, is the recommendation that we need to recommend to do some improves or some changes in the installation, some changes in the maintenance plan, some changes in the operation procedure, some change in the maintenance procedure, or some change or prepare some special measure in case of failure to minimize the impact of the problem. Often this part is the most important part of our investigation. Then we have seen in this video how the root cause analysis, I don't like this name, but the root cause analysis could help us to improve the result of our maintenance department.